Well, good afternoon, everyone. I think in the interest of everyone's time, we'll go ahead and begin. We want to welcome you to the August monthly luncheon of the Covington Business Council. I'm CBC Executive Director Pat Frew. Thank you for taking time from your busy schedules to sit in today. I first of all want to salute our sponsors, notably our title sponsor, St. Elizabeth Healthcare. It's hard to believe, but in 2 more months, it will be happening. October 2020, St. Elizabeth's Cancer Center will lead the way in cancer care and bring an even greater increase to preventative efforts, genetic screening, personalized treatment with integrative options, and survivor support. We are grateful to have such a great community partner whose vision is to reduce our area's cancer rate and also lead Northern Kentucky to become one of the healthiest communities in America. Our luncheon sponsor is Republic Bank, and we'll be hearing more from them in a little while. Our nonprofit spotlight sponsor is Baker Hunt Art and Cultural Center. We also want to acknowledge our CBC board members on the virtual call today, and I hope I didn't miss anybody, but these were the folks that were signed up today. Emily Badger from LISA, reopening again tonight. Way to go, Emily. Bruno Chuckamuzzi, St. Elizabeth Healthcare. Tony Milburn, the Milburn Group. Tony is our foundation chair and CBC board member. Also Dale Silver from C Forward and Tom Tilmas from Republic Bank, along with Betsy Weber from DBL Law. Some upcoming meetings of note that we want to tell you about. First of all, every Wednesday morning from 9 to 10, we have CBC Connects, which is still taking place virtually as most of our events are. It's not your ordinary networking group, and not because of COVID. It's a very unusual group in healthy times and in not so healthy times. So contact Christine from our office if you want to get in on the invite list. That is cbarth, C-B-A-R-T-H, at cbcky.com. We have a few open slots left for our rescheduled CBC golf outing, which will be Tuesday, September 22nd at Twin Oaks. We also continue to sell banner sponsorships, a mere $50, and also tea sponsorships. See Christine and I for more information. The evening of Thursday, October 1st, CBC will be airing a virtual Covington City Commission candidate forum. The forum will air at 8 p.m. the following evening. We'll actually be taping it on September 30th and airing it on October 1st. It will be on at 8 o'clock on the 1st on TBNK on 203 Spectrum and 815 Cincinnati Bell. Web streamed also through TBNK's website, so you'll want to tune in for that. In our efforts to get more African-American owned businesses engaged with the council, CBC and the Chamber are helping to host a Northern Kentucky Black-owned business town hall. This will be happening Tuesday evening, September 15th, only a couple of weeks away, at 5:30 that evening on the 15th. Joining us to say a few words about this is one of the organizers, Kareem Simpson of CBC member Sparklight Creative. Take it away, Kareem.
Hi, good afternoon, folks. Like Pat said, my name is Kareem Simpson. I am the founder of Sparklight Creative Group. I also work as a manager for operations at the Northern Kentucky Community Action Commission. And we're really excited to be, to kind of start building a presence in this space of business, especially small businesses and entrepreneurship. It's kind of an intersection with our normal clients, which are low income individuals. And in this day and age, people are trying to find different ways to supplement their income. So like Pat said, we're hosting a forum this, September 15th, 5:30. We're going to have, this is going to be especially kind of targeting the needs of Black-owned businesses in our region. So we are going to have a panel discussion hosted by, or moderated by our CEO, Katrina Bowman-Thomas. We're going to have representatives on the panel, Britt Fitzpatrick from Blue North, Ella Fry from ECDI, and also Kenneth Webb from Republic Bank. And we also wanted to invite two African-American business owners. So we're going to have Terrace Horton. He owns a local barbershop here in Covington, and also Mark Wilson. So we're going to talk about the resources for Black-owned businesses and what is out there. And we're also going to get the input of Black-owned business owners to see, like, where are those gaps in resources. So I think one of our partners is CBC, and they will be sending out the invitation link to participate. In addition, one more thing, for every participant or for every person on the call, they'll be entered into a raffle for $500. So at the end of that call, we're going to raffle off $500. So sign up and sign off. Thanks, Pat.
Great. Good job, Kareem, and thanks for your leadership on this. This is a very important initiative, I know, for both the CBC and the Chamber, so thanks for all your good work on it.
No problem.
Yeah. Also today, as part of our nonprofit spotlight, I want to welcome Karen Etling of Baker Hunt to talk about some of the things that they're working on right now. Karen, welcome.
Thanks. Good to be here. Hello to everybody. And for those of you who haven't met me, I'm Karen Etling, the Executive Director at Baker Hunt Art and Cultural Center. I have a very brief video to show that will give you a little bit of an idea of what's been going on campus over the last 12 months. Hopefully. Oh dear. Let's try that again. There we go. All right. Give me just a second.
Sure, take your time.
Can you see that, Pat?
I can't see it from where I'm sitting right now.
All right, let's try it again. I seem to have popped out of it. Well, guess what, guys? I'm just going to share this story with you. Last year at this time, we started a construction project here on campus. And that construction project includes a teaching kitchen. We are just about through with that construction project, and we're very excited about it. We also have been back at classes as of July. We skipped our spring session, unfortunately, but we started our classes back up in July, and they've been going great, and our students have been so happy to have a place to come. We have everything taped off and set up in such a way that it's safe for our students, and the joy of seeing people back on campus has been wonderful. We have had one little blip in our story, and that is we had to cancel Twilight this year. Twilight in the Gardens is our biggest fundraiser for Baker Hunt, and with social distancing and groups of 10 or less, we actually decided to cancel Twilight for the year. So instead, we turned that into a campaign to raise some funds for Baker Hunt, and the community has stepped up and truly helped us with that. So thank you to all of you, and thanks, Pat, for letting me speak today.
Well, that's great, Karen, and back on here too. We will make sure that we share that video in the newsletter and on the website. We'll let people see that. Appreciate all the great work you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I also, speaking of classes, I would not have class if I forgot this board member, Dr. Figueroa from Gateway, Fernando. Thank you so much for being part of our board. So we appreciate you being here today. So now it's time for Covington Economic Development Director, Tom West. He's here as he is practically every month talking about all the great happenings with new and existing businesses in the city. Tom, that masked man.
Can you see me? I'm wearing this to remind everyone that you can do your part to help us help our businesses survive the pandemic by wearing your mask. It's not a political statement. It's a matter of survival for our restaurants, bars, retailers, and other service businesses. So please, when you're out, wear your mask and help those places stay open. I've got some incredible news to share with everyone, and we've talked about this before. Probably the most boring thing I ever talked to you about is zoning, but it's incredibly important. I'm happy to report that the Kent County Planning Commission voted unanimously to recommend approval of the new Neighborhood Development Code. Notice we took the Z word out of there, but the new Neighborhood Development Code and map. So the City Commission will be considering adopting that by ordinance during the month of September. This is really, it's $250,000 that the city's invested to rewrite this regulation. It's very important. It regulates all commercial and residential property in the city. And we were able to get this done in 18 months with hundreds and hundreds of Covington stakeholders, residents, investors, property owners participating in that process over that 18-month period. The last update, I think, took 8 years and probably cost a lot more. And you know, that's making a camel, I guess, maybe why we have the situation we have. We're continuing to attract jobs. One of the things that Pat pointed out is next month's luncheon is going to feature the CovTech development out in the Latonia Shopping Center. But all the way from Latonia to River Center, we are continuing to attract companies to Covington, points in between those two as well. We'll be sharing some other good news in the next couple of weeks about a company coming to the east side of Covington. We now are the proud owners of 23 acres of prime riverfront real estate. We do have the keys to a one-story building down between River Center Boulevard and 4th Street. So hopefully in the next couple of months, you'll be seeing some of that start to come down and maybe some infrastructure start to be developed there in the next year or so. The other thing that has really caught a lot of news lately, a lot of attention, is around Innovation Alley and what we're doing with regard to entrepreneurship in Covington. And this has really kind of taken the tone of two different stories. One is of growth and success of companies that kind of got their start there. We all know that Mavis and Delish Dish got their start with Aviatra in Innovation Alley, and she's now grown that business. We also have been hearing, or we've heard a lot about Grainwell. They now have 2 facilities on Pike Street. Now the next company is graduating from Innovation Alley, and that's Gravity Diagnostics. They've received a tremendous amount of growth recently because of their involvement in the COVID-19 testing that's going on, and they are in the process of moving to a new home about a block away from Innovation Alley. But we also now have a partnership with NKU, and they will be making a large announcement about that in the coming week or so. So make sure you watch the news about that NKU partnership to take over the old Uptech space. We've added a small business development center business coach. They will be housed in the Aviatra space along with Aviatra. And Aviatra they completely filled, I think right off the bat, their women of color cohort that is, I guess, currently wrapping up now. And they are now, I think, seeking to fill a second women of color cohort. So we're very excited about that. And then, of course, the work that Renaissance Covington is doing that we are also supporting at the city around the mortar program. So don't forget about the mortar program that starts up soon. I want to kind of wrap up today. I know I've had a lot of things on here, but I think we could all use some good news these days. We do still have funding available through our emergency rent and mortgage program. I have about $100,000 left in that program that we can put out in the form of $4,000 grants for small businesses, primarily retailers, restaurants, bars, service businesses that have been hit by the pandemic. And then we will be rolling out a new program in the next week or so. We've received another $300,000 from HUD specifically for COVID, and we're going to use that for some larger larger grant programs. So again, about $300,000 more will be added in the next week or so. So be on the lookout for news about those things, and I'll flip it back to Pat now. And remember, wear your mask.
Great, thanks, Tom. I also want to recognize Greg Paith from the Neighborhood Collaborative, another one of our board members on the call today too. So, so we've had Tom West. We're going to have Tom Tilmas here in a minute, introducing another Tom. So I guess we're up to our neck in tomfoolery today at this luncheon. So that's kind of the theme in addition to the growth. So without further ado, Mr. Tilmas of Republic Bank will introduce our speaker today. So Tom, take it away.
Thank you, Pat. On behalf of Republic Bank, I'm pleased to be able to sponsor this CBC program. I'd like to take a minute, though, to tell you a little bit about the bank itself. Republic Bank's a community banking organization that was born right here in the state of Kentucky. It's a bank where everybody's welcome, where you can find what you need to fit your lifestyle. It's a bank where people actually are happy to see you when you walk through the door. Come in and find out for yourself why we say at Republic Bank, it's just easier here. And now for our guest speaker. I'm pleased and honored to introduce Tom Banta, the Managing Director of Corporex Companies and Corporex Realty and Investment. Over his 34-year career with Corporex, Mr. Banta has worked in nearly all functions and divisions of the company. During his tenure with Corporex, the company has built over 18 million square feet of commercial real estate, including more than 40 hotels, 20 office buildings, and 6 business parks. Mr. Banta serves on the board of directors of Triad, Ready Cincinnati, and the Butler Foundation. Previously, Mr. Banta served as a board member for the Cincinnati USA Regional Chamber of Commerce and Eagle Hospitality, a New York Stock Exchange traded real estate investment trust. Mr. Banta is a graduate of Indiana University with a dual degree in finance and real estate administration. And when he's not working on his latest development, I understand he enjoys hiking and getting away to the mountains. So please join me in welcoming to your screen, Mr. Tom Banta.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can see me on here. I am definitely technology challenged, so hopefully we get it all to work. I'm very pleased to be with you all today, even though it's a video chat. It's a strange world we're all in. I always thought if you considered for a minute in January, if I had woken up in January and someone told me that we were going to, in the next 4 or 5 months, at least from Corporex's standpoint, we manage about 52 hotels. And if you told me at one point those hotels would have an occupancy of about 12%, that the 5 restaurants we operate would be ordered closed by the government, that the 5 sports country clubs that we operate would be ordered closed by the government, that in our office portfolio, there would only be about 30% of the people actually coming to work and occupying it, and everyone else was staying home and occupying. I think I would have taken early retirement. I know if I had seen what that is. So it's truly been a management challenge. I think an interesting opportunity for those of us that like challenges, et cetera. I wasn't counting on another recession in my career, but you just deal with what rolls with you. The good news is all that's happened and life goes on and people are recovering. I can tell you, just give you some background information, our hotel portfolio is back up in the 60% kind of range. So people are starting to get out and travel and move around a bit. So it is interesting. People are gradually coming back to work in the office buildings. Some of our restaurants are back open. The clubs are back open, the sports country clubs. And I can tell you that people are desperate to get out and do things. And I know we all feel that way. But I can tell you what I feel in our clubs and restaurants and all that. Once we're allowed to open something up a little bit, it usually takes right off because people are very anxious to get started and get moving. So, oops. So hopefully, let me go back here to the beginning of this slideshow. It jumped in the middle here. Give me just a second. There we go. So what I've been asked to give an update on, which people tend to have in their mind, is what's going on at Ovation. It's been a very exciting time for us at Ovation. You know, it took a long time to get things going. And we have, over the course of this last year, been very active and very busy building what I'm referring to as phase one of the Ovation venue. So those of you that aren't familiar maybe with exactly what Ovation's all about and what it involves, Ovation's a little over 35 acres. Hopefully that's on the screen now. I hope, Pat, everyone can see it. It is the area bounded here in orange, which includes about 35 acres of the most prominent riverfront property in the area. We have the development rights to that property. We have negotiated with the state a TIF, which has been instrumental in bringing the infrastructure and the parking to the development. The state worked with us and rerouted Route 9 to go through the development, and it's now complete, opened about a year ago, which really triggered the development, et cetera. And we started on phase one of the development, which is right here. I'm circling now with the cursor. So moving ahead, this is kind of the master plan of the overall development. It is intended to be a mixed-use development, which will have office, hotel, residential, et cetera. But what we really needed to kick it off was something that would bring people from outside the area, create a life and energy, et cetera. And originally, when we started the development and negotiated the original development, we assumed that that was going to be retail. As you all know, the retail market has been pummeled the last several years. So as we got farther into the development, we realized it probably wasn't going to be retail that was going to drive the activity down here. So we were looking for other entertainment type opportunities, which brought about the opportunity for the music venue. And the music venue is located right here and is what is under construction as part of this overall phase one. The area that I'm highlighting here right now is all phase one. So, you know.
I actually have your screen.
Oh,
I have your screen up. So tell me when you want me to advance.
Okay, let me, did the sharing not work? It's okay.
No, it didn't work. Here, if you want to try hit the share screen and then choose your PowerPoint.
Yeah, it's not coming up on the option at the bottom.
Okay. And I'm fine to keep doing it. I just wanted you to know that we can't see your cursor and just to guide me as to which slide you want to be on.
Let me go back. All right, so that's fine. I apologize for that. I thought I was driving it. Go ahead. Which slide are you on now?
Ovation phase one.
Because I can't see the screen. Let me
concert venue.
Let me do this. Let me go back. Let's see if it comes up now. I apologize, folks. I thought it was on there.
We did practice this, guys. We did this earlier, didn't we, Tom?
It worked fine then. Just one second.
There we go.
Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that, folks. Going back, this is the master plan of the development and phase. You can see my cursor now, correct? This is the phase 1 of the development, which is under construction right now. So what are we building? The phase 1 is a podium with a 550 car structured parking garage underneath and a music venue located on top, as well as pads for an office building and a hotel. So, interesting story about how the music venue came about and how we got involved in it. I had been working with Scott Steinecker almost 4 to 5 years. He had been trying to find a site, and his preference was in Cincinnati. He really wanted to build this facility originally in Cincinnati. We worked with him both on the Cincinnati side with the soccer folks in the stadium, and then over here in Kentucky at Ovation. He went through the RFP process that the city of Cincinnati put on for the music venue, and ultimately decided when that process went the other direction to come over to Northern Kentucky. So we worked quickly with a lease with him. During that lease negotiation process, his company, which was called Promo West, got bought by a company called AEG. Now, what distinguishes the two companies, Promo West was one of the largest Midwest-based concert performers that have facilities in Columbus and Pittsburgh and in other locations. You might know them here in Cincinnati because they always hosted the Bunbury Festival here in Cincinnati, and they very much wanted to bring this same indoor-outdoor concert venue concept they had and bring it to the Cincinnati area. So we were negotiating with Promo West. We're very far along in the lease negotiation progress. Then it went quiet for almost 60 days. And then when he got back to me, he said, look, I haven't been able to talk to you. I've been in negotiations. AEG bought my company, 51% of it. Well, as it turns out, AEG is the second largest in the world at producing concerts and music shows. They have acts like Elton John, et cetera. They have venues like the Forum out in LA, et cetera. And they wanted to buy Scott's company, Promo West, because they wanted to focus on his concept of an indoor-outdoor venue that he really kind of created and built the prototype for, and they were very interested in that kind of venue. So it was great for us because the strength of the company behind this operation grew tenfold. The booking power of it grew, the acts, the kind of acts that'll be here grew. But we still had Scott's local platform, his concept and all that. So we set about taking what Scott had built in his first two cities, Cleveland and Pittsburgh, and making a better mousetrap of it, improving it, enhancing it, et cetera. Then when AEG got involved, they brought their own enhancements to it. And I think it's really going to be a world-class facility. I don't think there'll be anything like it in the United States. It's just been very exciting to be a part of it. So what is it going to be? It's an indoor-outdoor theater that hosts both indoor shows and outdoor, all from the same facility, and frankly, all from the same stage. This was an early rendering of the facility, and it helps illustrate the point. This is the main stage of the building where my cursor is, and you have this big airline hangar door that comes down, And so if the shows are inside, the stage faces inward and the door is closed and the acts are performing inside. If it's during the summer, they raise the airline door, the stage performs outdoor to the lawn seating area outside. The big advantage of this type of arrangement is all of your facilities, the restrooms, the green room for the performers, the dressing rooms, the production areas, and all that are protected from the weather. They're all in the same location, and they're used for either indoor or outdoor kind of concerts. So it really is a incredible concept they've come up with. They've worked, frankly, the kinks out in the first couple they built, and we've really enhanced that here in Newport. So we're extremely excited about it. The acts that they book, they'll book in a circuit coming down from Columbus to Cleveland, et cetera, and Pittsburgh. And so they do, all of those venues book 180 events a year. So if you think about that, that's an event every other day of the year on average. They'll do 140 concert performances, and of those, about 70 of them are outdoors. And the outdoor capacity is about 7,000 people. The indoor capacity is about 2,700. So now someone wired in a question earlier, and the question was, what kind of acts are going to perform here? I will say it's the acts, frankly, that appeal to people younger than myself for the most part. Although they do have acts from different generations, but it's a lot of the really hot up and coming acts that are still playing the smaller venues. And I can tell you in Columbus, when I was researching this, I saw Bare Naked Ladies and Better Than Ezra were the two groups that I saw up there, but they also do a lot of hip hop, a lot of the higher energy, younger type crowds. You can go on Promo West site and you'll see the kind of acts they've been booking. This gives you a little bit about AEG Presents. You can see the kind of venues that they control all around the country and the kind of acts they book. Paul McCartney, Rolling Stones, Justin Bieber, all of it. A lot of the big music festivals, Coachella, Stagecoach, etc. AEG produces all those. AEG is based in LA. Promo West has the two facilities you might be familiar with is Express Live in Columbus and Stage AE at Pittsburgh. Stage AE is right at the football stadium, and then Express Live is part of the theater district down there with the insurance company, et cetera. So, like I said, I think we really got a nice combination of the local and the big horsepower behind it. So this was an early construction photo once we started construction. And I point out what you can see here on this site is they're just starting to pour the drilled piers. It's all these little white tubular things you see here, columns. Along the riverbeds in Covington, all the buildings are built on deep foundations that go down 90 feet to bedrock. So believe it or not, this entire parking garage and facility sits on deep piers that are drilled about 90 feet into the ground. So we worked on this site for almost 4 months going underground before you saw anything that came above ground for the facility. This is a shot taken just a few days ago. We have a camera mounted on the courthouse, which takes live shots of the construction as it progresses. So one of the questions that came in is, have you had problems and delays due to COVID? We have had problems and we have had delays related to COVID. The project, though, is still tracking within 2 weeks of our original budget or our original schedule before any of this happened. So we haven't really, in reality, lost much time, but we have been affected. It's such things as supply chains have been interrupted. You'll place an order for instance, this airline hangar door that we're building in here, and the plant over in Europe actually was closed due to COVID, so there was a delay in getting the material. We had Baker, who did the parking garage, subcontractor did the parking garage. One of their crews, project manager, got tested positive for COVID. That crew, the entire crew, was quarantined for 2 weeks. Fortunately, Baker's big enough, they got other people out here, kept things going. So we actually have stayed on schedule, even though we've hit our share of delays and all that. It just takes intensive management and working around the problems that come up in the field, but we've been able to keep things moving and keep everybody safe on the site that's working. The entire podium and festival venue is up on an elevated platform, which is on a tiered parking garage. So you can see the parking garage underneath here. And then this is actually the lawn. This will be planted in natural grass back here. So this is the sloped lawn where you'll watch the outdoor shows. What I refer to as the mosh pit, which is the standing viewing area in front of the stage, is here. The stage will be elevated right in this area. And then you can see the indoor of the thing is got a mezzanine around it. So there's 2 stories of viewing for the indoor shows, and then the outdoor shows are played out here. We did put a sloped roof on the thing to give it a lot of character. It also gives it a very dramatic feel when you're out in this lawn watching it. This thing is massive. So you can see these are a couple guys, workers standing over here. So you get an idea of this height relative to just what a couple people look like. This is actually 50 some feet high. So it's going to be a very dramatic. You can, as you're standing in the area out here, you can see downtown Cincinnati, the ballparks. You have great views from up there. So it's going to be very dramatic. So this is taken from the other perspective. The phase 1 garage, as I mentioned, is all this area around here. So this parking garage is now complete for this entire area. The music venue will be done in November. It'll be turned over to AEG in late November. They will start their sound work, their F&E and all that production work inside there. And they hope to be ready to do shows in early, they'll be doing, if they're allowed, they'll be doing shows in early April. And you can see the sloped lawn back here, the seating, etc. The phase 1 includes a hotel, which is a Homewood Suites hotel. We have bought the franchise for that. We've been approved for the franchise. We are out in the market getting financing right now, which is very difficult. We'll get it done, but it's very difficult, as you can imagine, with what's going on in the world. Lending on hotels is not the highest priority for banks right now. We do have people that are interested, but they're aggressive terms and all that, and we're in the process of getting that done. We've also designed a 100,000 square foot spec office building, which will be located right here on the site. It's a 4-story building, 25,000 foot floor plates, and will be the first office development in the Ovation overall development. As you can see right here, there is a bridge that is been ordered. It'll start construction in about 3 weeks, and you'll see it built over Route 9, connecting both sides of the Ovation development over Route 9. This gives you a little more in the hotel. It's a Homewood Suites. It is going to have a rooftop bar. It's not shown in this elevation, but it is shown over here. So we'll have nice views of downtown Cincinnati and all that from the top of the bar. There's also a bar located down here at plaza level. The AEG shows that they do are all festival seating. So people arrive very early for shows. They get in line. So there will be an area out here to serve drinks and bars and all that while they're waiting in line for the shows. This is a street level rendering of what the office building will look like, the pedestrian bridge crossing over. This is Route 9 coming through here. You can see the office building, the music venue in the background, and the hotel over here. The hotel has 125 rooms. They're suite type rooms designed to accommodate the concert goers as well as the other visitors to the Ovation development. This is a view of the plaza between the office building and the hotel. So the music venue is kind of behind you in this rendering. This is the office building, and then the hotel is over, not quite shown on the rendering on this side. This is the plaza that will be located between the venues. So again, this is phase 1, which we're well underway in construction with. And phase 2 is all of the riverfront property. And I said phase 2 is a combination of parking garage underneath, residential in both terms of both ownership and rentals, and then office buildings and hotels, and all street level retail connecting the various developments. So it's going to be a high energy place. If you think for a minute, when we were talking about, for instance, the soccer venue here, you would have about 10 or 11 events a year that might attract 20,000 people at the most, but only on those nights. Or you compare it to the football stadium, you might have 12 home games on Sunday. This music venue has 180 events almost every other night that average an attendance of 2,500 people. So if you can picture right to the heart of Newport, 2,500 people coming to visit every other night, it's really going to be a game changer for what happens in Newport. This is a street level view of the future, the phase 2 on the other side of the street. Again, this is along the top of the levee. We got permission from the Army Corps of Engineers to fill the backside of the levee. And what that does is allows us to, when you walk out the front door of these townhomes and all that, you'll walk straight across the levee and down to the river. There won't be any interruption. This is not the architecture of what it's going to look like. It's more of a massing plan, but it gives you an idea of townhomes along the front, retail along the street level, walking right out to the top of the levee, and then larger buildings in back. Here we have a very quick fly-through video, which I'm going to allow to run here for a second. This is the view along the Licking River. You're looking at the levee in the back, and then the residential along the street. This walkway shown right here between the buildings actually connects right to that pedestrian bridge. that I was showing earlier that crosses over the top of Route 9 and connects to the music venue. So now you're out back on the lawn of the concert venue. This kind of gives you a good feel for the outdoor stage and all that and how to relate. Okay. Hopefully that gives you all a pretty good idea. Oops, I'm sorry, start it over. Let me go to the next slide. Hopefully that gives you a good feel where we're at. You know, everybody asks what's AEG's plan, what's going forward, et cetera. Honestly, they don't know. They have canceled the concert schedule for this calendar year because even if they had authority from the municipalities right now to have concerts, the acts themselves are not prepared and not geared up. That probably is going to take 60 to 90 days in and of itself. So I think April 1st is kind of an optimistic date that they have right now. We'll just have to play it by ear and see how things progress. Fortunately, AEG is now involved in this, and they're one of the largest in the world. They've got the resources to weather through this. And they have stayed on schedule with everything. I can tell you they're proceeding full speed ahead with us on this, ordering materials, having things delivered on time and on schedule. So there's no chance they're not going forward. It's just a matter of when will the acts be ready and when will we be back to normal again on the concert tour. So with that, Christine, I want to turn it back over to you, you and Pat, and I'm happy to answer any questions anybody might have. That's
great, Tom. Thank you. That's so exciting. Especially the analogy that you gave about the usage and the amount of people there on the riverfront versus a soccer stadium. It just really blows it out of the water. It's just amazing.
Great.
You started, and we have a number of questions, but I want to start off the top here. In the same way that you began talking about who could have predicted what the pandemic would do to your business, did you ever foresee in your history with Corporex that you would be developing a music venue like this? Did that ever enter your thoughts before?
It really didn't, but I will tell you, one of the things I love about the work I do at Corporex is we're very diverse in what we do. So over my career, I mean, we built a blimp hangar. We've built very technical industrial facilities like Wild Flavors out by the airport. We built office building, hotels, built crazy architecture projects like the Ascent and the museum residences out in Denver at the Art Museum. So I've always enjoyed the fact you get to do a lot of very unique things, unique architecture and all that. I can tell you I love working on something like the music venue because you get to know somebody else's business. A quick funny story, when AEG got involved, you really get to study their business model a little bit, and you realize they don't make any money on the acts. What they pay the performers and all that is about what their costs are to put the event on. They basically are in the beer sales business. You know, I hate to say that, but that's where all their profits come from. So the folks at A&G used to talk about the circle of life in our planning meetings, and the circle of life to them is the three most important things about the venue is you have a clear, great path to see the stage and the performer. You can get to the beer and not wait in line quickly. You can get to the restroom and not wait in line and deposit the beer. And then you can get back to your seat and still be able to see the stage and not have to wait in any of those venues. That's their circle of life.
Okay, let's get to some of the questions here, Tom. What is the number of hotels now in the Corporex portfolio, including this new one that will be part of Ovation?
We manage, I think it's either between 50 or 52 hotels that we manage. We own a little less than half of those hotels. The others we manage for other owners. We've built 50 some hotels in the time I've been with Corporex, but some of those we've sold or put into a public REIT and done other things with. But we still own 20, I think it's 22 hotels in 15 states.
Got it. Will there be a portion of the residential space that will be marked as affordable housing, or will it all be market rate?
No, we haven't done any that we don't have a plan yet for any or a requirement for what is legally termed affordable housing. But I can tell you our focus down there is very different than when we built the Ascent or some of the other projects we've done. We want to have a broad base of residential at Ovation, including some that is very affordable for young people and for people that are downsizing, et cetera, for the workers in the area and all that. We want to have very affordable housing there.
Okay. Nancy Spivey wants to know who will manage and oversee the concert and parking venues?
We will manage the parking garage on behalf of the city of Newport, the technical owner of the garage, and AEG self-manages their music venues. So they're on a long-term lease for the building. Corporex owns the building, but they're on a long-term lease.
Okay, we have time for a few more questions. I have one more here on the chat, so submit those to the chat box if you have any more. This question from Peter: do you have any reservations about building a spec office building with more people working from home? How do you think that WFH will affect your current office space?
Peter, it keeps me up at night, so yes. Here's what I believe. Ovation's a long-term development, and we're in a short-term situation. Quite frankly, I remember in 2001, 2002, when people said no one's ever going to occupy high-rise office buildings in Manhattan again after the towers came down. And it was going to fundamentally change Manhattan office space. Well, it did fundamentally change Manhattan office space. It took off like crazy and had a huge growth spurt. I have talked to too many business owners that believe that working from home is bad for company morale, for collaboration, for building loyalty for employees. So I think it's a short-term hiccup, but long-term, people are going to work in office buildings long-term.
Well, I mean, if the office market is going in the dumper, you sure can't tell from River Center. I mean, yeah. I'm in this building all the time, and you've got painters and construction people working round the clock. And from what I understand, they're weeks out with work, both here and your other properties in Northern Kentucky alone.
Well, I can tell you at River Center in the last 20 months, we've leased enough space in River Center to fill that office building that we have on the plan for Newport. 100,000 feet is not a huge building in this marketplace, so.
Great. Tom, thank you. You've always been a great friend of the CBC and a great partner and collaborator in our community and making things happen. We really appreciate you taking time out to tell us about this exciting project today.
Thank you, Pat. It's my pleasure.
Great. Thank you, Tom. Also, thanks to St. Elizabeth Healthcare, our title sponsor, our luncheon sponsor, Republic Bank, and our nonprofit spotlight sponsor, Baker Hunt. Don't forget, we will, this was recorded and we will be sending you the link in the next day or so, and some comments from this in our upcoming newsletter getting ready to go out. So please join us next month. Looks like it will be virtual again on Thursday, September 17th, only about 3 weeks away. We'll have Kurt Reynolds of Regadget, one of the signature companies occupying Latonia Plaza, talking about what's going on. They will also be on my program, my TV program on TBNK in the coming weeks as well. So we hope you can join us for the luncheon next month. Again, thank you for being a part of today's program, and have a great start to your weekend. Bye, everybody.